So I told my husband we were going to be a sex-positive family. He was on board, so the next Saturday we told our kids, listen, if the door is shut, don't even knock. We're having sex. They were like, ew, you're doing what? That's disgusting. To be honest, I was a little offended, but it was worth it because nobody came anywhere near our door for hours. We had sex, we had an uninterrupted conversation, we binged all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad. I know some of you are like, oh my God, she is out there glorifying sex. But you have to understand, the seduction begins when one of us takes our retainers out. Putting my yellowed retainer on the bedside table, that's my mating call. So if we are glorifying anything, it's orthodontia, not sex. I love my IUD. I have the hormonal kind, the Mirena. I'm on my second one, which means I have not had my period since Barack Obama was in the White House. And a lot of women will be like, are you sure you want all those hormones in your body? Yeah, the ones that make it so I never bleed. The ones that make it so every 4 weeks I'm not curled up in a ball crying because everything sucks and it will never get better unless I can mainline a Honey Bunches of Oats cereal / peanut butter / Cool Whip parfait immediately. Yeah, no, I'm into those hormones. But what if they're toxic? I don't know, Debbie. What if judging other people's birth control was toxic? What if having 12 kids I didn't want was toxic? When I got the IUD, they told me I was going to need a new one in 5 years. So, fun fact about me, I'm the type of person who does not remember to take a tampon out before I put a new one in. I know this because I have found a surprise tampon string. It's kind of like when you find a $20 bill in your pocket. You're like, oh my God, how long has this been in here? It's my lucky day. It's like that, except with a tampon, you're like, oh, motherfucker. How long has this been rotting in my body? Is today the day I die of toxic shock syndrome? Better get my affairs in order. So I cannot be bothered to remember what's in my vagina. I'm a very busy woman. So the first thing I did when I got my brand new IUD was I left the doctor's office and I got out my phone and I entered a new event in my calendar for 5 years later, replace Mirena. Now my husband and I, we share a Google Calendar. So I invite him to things like girls' nights and bikini waxes, and what I mean is, I'm going. You're staying home with the kids. So he sees this invitation to replace Mirena, and he's like, who is Mirena? Why are we replacing her? Getting the Mirena really hurt. When I called to schedule the appointment, they said, make sure you have a ride because we are going to give you some very strong pain medication. Can I just say, I was pumped. At the time, I had a baby, a toddler, and very little free time. So I was like, ooh, screw dinner and the movies. Just lightly sedate me and let me lie down. Perhaps I could slip into something a little more comfortable first. Maybe an assless paper gown if you have one. Well, they're about to start the procedure, and I still have not gotten anything. And I don't want them to write drug seeking in my chart, but also I'm drug seeking. So I'm like, hey, I love the vibe in here, but I was expecting a little something for the pain. And they were like, oh, well, we have Tylenol, but that's all we have. You shouldn't need much more than that. I did. Needed probably an entire opium den. But not as much as I needed 5 years later when it was time to replace the IUD. And I say this as someone who delivered my 2 children at home without any pain meds. I'm not someone who freaks out about every little ache, pain, or baby head. But I'm lying on the table while the nurse is beachcombing my uterus for what feels like a very long time. When she turns to her assistant and she goes, have you seen the mega extractor? Which she tells me is just this tool we use when we've looked everywhere and we still can't find your IUD. I'm not a doctor, but I really feel like if that's a tool you need, your IUD should come with a GPS tracker. I think if men got IUDs, it wouldn't be this farce like, make sure you have a ride because you're gonna get the good drugs. Just kidding! You've been through childbirth. Advil for you. No. If men got IUDs, they would schedule their appointments at Children's Hospital, where they would be greeted at the door by hot clowns wearing string bikinis, passing out ice cream cones with Percocet sprinkles. It would be like Disney World, or at least Casa Bonita. I read this article about how therapy does not work, and I was like, that is some flat earth bullshit. Do we have any therapy fans here in Louisville? Okay, I see you, my neurotic friends. I love therapy. Therapy has made it possible, it's made me a better parent, better partner, and I don't want to brag, but because of therapy, I can now use the self-checkout at the grocery store. I used to get so mad when the little machine would be like, place your item in the bag. I would start muttering under my breath like a psychotic person. It's in the fucking bag. I never felt heard. And then it would continue. Place your item in the bag. Your reaction seems over the top, Pam. Is something coming up for you that you would like to explore? So then I would take the next logical step and start stabbing every single button, hoping to move on without having to, God forbid, call the attendant. Because those two words, calling attendant, would immediately turn my logical brain off, and I would be driven by instinct alone. As the small adult female gathers organic avocados, unsweetened almond milk, and kale for her family, she senses a threat in the environment. It's weird because I'm actually a very lazy person. So this whole, oh my God, no, not the attendant thing, it's very off-brand for me. When I found out that it was illegal to pump your own gas in the state of New Jersey, I was like, what's up, Garden State? I could see myself relocating to New Jersey. But if you took me to a self-checkout, I turned into a toddler who had not napped in 57 days. I was like, no, I do myself. And when the machine said, help is on the way, I was like, do I look like I need help? I have a master's degree. And even though I am dying to live in New Jersey so that I can sit in my car while somebody else pumps my gas, I don't need your fucking help. It's a good thing I worked on myself in therapy before they had full-time security at my neighborhood Walgreens. But before therapy, I used self-checkout as an absolute total last resort for when I didn't want the cashier to see me buying things like tampons, pregnancy tests, Cool Whip. But lately, I've been feeling downright fearless. Now, when the machine says help is on the way, I'm like, wow, I feel grateful because women need help. We need affordable childcare. We need access to safe abortions. We need people to stop judging our choices to buy Cool Whip and to search Zillow for homes in New Jersey. Now, instead of freaking out and taking it personally when the machine says, place your item in the bag, when the item's already in the bag, and wondering why this robot cashier is hell-bent on reopening all of my childhood wounds. Now I wonder, what might be coming up for the robot cashier? And does it know where I can get the good drugs? Thank you, you guys have been awesome.
Keep it going for Pam Moore.